yeah, Black Sabbath. Yeah, hello. Technical Ecstasy now. The next one. Their problems are sorted, sort of. I think they've now got Don Arden. I think they've gone back with Don Arden. Yeah, this is the album, Technical Ecstasy. Sounds like a great title. Sounds like a great cover, doesn't it? I think. Recorded in Miami. Tony Iommi alternately locked himself in the studio in his hotel room with a mountain of coke. Occasionally, members of the band would come off from the beach and pop into the studio, or Tony would let them in. Delete as applicable. Now, Sabotage didn't sell well. You have to understand that the perception at the time of Black Sabbath compared to what people think now, it's very different. You know, it looks like the plan was to make something much more commercial, which now seems insane. And what the? But I think it makes that idea makes perfect sense. I can see that logic. You know, rumours. This is the time of rumours. It's not the time of Tales from Topographic Ocean. So you know, doing these widescreen epic albums of awesome, you know, Bloody Sabbath and Sabotage. It's not that time anymore. You know, the first problem with that is the production. Okay, stinks. It sucks. I'm going to be telling later on. I'm going to be telling a really good Black Sabbath anecdote. It's even better than the one last week. It's really good, relating to that. It sounds awful. Mud. Everyone knows now. When you're going to do that, you get an outside producer. Your sellout album, you know, Dark Side of the Moon, 90125 or whatever. And yeah, so the songs on there, they range from. There's 2 moments of awesome, and some good stuff and some meh stuff. So, you know, in the context of the whole catalogue, well, it's all right. It's quite interesting, something different. In the context of where it was after Sabotage, it is nowhere near where it should be. This is not good enough. It's just not good enough. It's just some meh songs. Super meh.
I agree, Kev. 100% agree with that. 110%.
Were you surprised?
I was a bit surprised, actually.
Sabotage.
I know. I mean, Sabotage kind of hit me a little bit by surprise with how good it was. I kind of assume we're quite a long way in now, aren't we?
Yeah, 7th album.
It's sort of. Is this 7th or is this 8th?
7th.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the other album we're doing. That's the 8th, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sabotage was awesome. And you had like Ozzy Osbourne doing the Rit type thing, you know, exceeding expectations. Yeah. Sabotage. That's what that was doing. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I've noticed with Black Sabbath, you know, we do the typical, they're just a bunch of brummy type things. How can they do that? It seems to be the constant. Yeah. Well, no, not this. This sounds a bit. Where's the great riffs, man? You know, you've mentioned before, Tony Iommi is great at writing riffs. Where are the riffs on here?
There's one. The last song has a good riff.
But last week's Sabotage, I felt the inner Brummy coming out of me, thinking, a bit of pride, bit of local pride there. They're Brummy boys, exceeding expectations, rocking out the world. Yeah, and then this is just sort of like a fairly...
Some rock music.
Yeah, it's an average rock album, basically. Great cover.
Yeah.
I mean...
Hypnosis.
Last week we had I don't know what you call it. It's not even a tragedy. It's just, and then we've got this, and you look at it and think, "Oh, this is weird. And the music is vanilla.
Yeah, it just doesn't match.
The cover's ace.
That should be the cover to Sabotage.
Yeah, definitely.
There's something really interesting, and it's hypnosis, and what does that mean? Technical ecstasy. Wow, it's going to be about technology, which is a theme in Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
nothing on there about that at all.
No, yeah. Where are those themes that they do so well when they,
Although maybe all moving parts might be.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
Backstreet Kids, the way it transitions almost seems like, are they just trying to copy Sabotage? Because they did that at the first track in the album just cuts out, doesn't it?
Does it just cut out? I'm trying to remember the end of the song.
I'm sure it just cuts out, because I remember listening to it in the car thinking, my phone's going off.
Yeah,
it just stops, and then they do it on this, but it's not as good. The great thing about Sabotage was actually, one of the many great things about Sabotage was Ozzy's vocals.
Yeah.
Again, quite surprising.
Yeah.
So it was just something about it's just awesome.
Yeah.
They're not so good on
It's
this.
just smushed into the mush of the sound.
Yeah, it's not like they're not highlighting that at all. So yeah, a definite step backwards.
Yeah, and it really does sound like an old tape, an old Dolby tape that's been copied from another tape, which is how I originally heard it. Actually, well, from a manky original tape, and I thought that was just the tape, and I got to CD. It sounded the same. It sounds terrible. You can't record a heavy metal album in Dolby. But yeah, the revisionists say, "Oh, well, it's the time of punk, and they were out of fashion now." You could argue some of this is kind of punk, sort of Backstreet Kids, because they really are like that. We're unlike all the middle class punks. The reality was they wanted to be successful, yeah, not just in pretentious magazines in London. They wanted to be actually successful everywhere in the world and make lots of money, And the big stuff was Rumours. It was Foreigner. It was, Hotel California was being recorded next door. Apparently, they'd used the studio before them, and they had to empty out the mixing desk of coke because they'd been using the mixing desk to snort their coke, and it was just full of it. REO Speedwagon, that kind of stuff. And Tony, I think Tony was right. People say, "Oh, well, Black Sabbath won't fit with that." He was technically right. He just couldn't pull it off because he needed a producer. Sales were falling, industry was going bigger, and their sales were falling. So he was right. It didn't help. ELO were getting massive by this point, and they were about to go into the stratosphere. So Don Arden was kind of losing interest in Sabbath a bit. I think he sort of came back and there's a bit of that going on. And they just, I keep saying, "Oh, it's Tony Iommi did it." It sounds like the rest of the band just couldn't be arsed. "Oh, Tony, you haven't made the album yet."
Yeah. I heard the same thing as you there in the music. I heard it a different way. I thought, "Oh, they feel like they've made it now," and they're just
do another album.
Yeah, they're just treading water basically.
Yeah, but I mean, they are in a coke haze. They are snowblind. I feel them sunbathing, and should we make some music? It's all right because Tony will just make the best ever music in the world again. It's fine. It's just like Roger Waters, actually, isn't it? People don't say this. "Oh, you're so difficult, Roger. Have you written the whole album of Awesome yet?"
Pull your finger out.
"Oh, I don't like that. That's not good enough. Come on, make all that money for us. Write us a new song. Have you written anything? No, but you should write me a massive album of amazing stuff that's different." Like I said, I mean, I think Storm Thorgerson said it was like it's two robots having sex. That's what it is. They're spraying oil at each other on an escalator. But what does it have to do with anything? It's really conservative music, really. Why is that there? Yeah. Do you want to hear my story? This is great. This is such a good story. Okay, now this is the first Aussie album I heard. I already had greatest hits, and I knew the songs obviously, but the actual complete album, I heard Heaven and Hell and Dehumanizer before I heard an Aussie album. And this was the first one, and we went to Bromsgrove Library with me, my brother and my dad. Went to Bromsgrove Library one day, and it was the days of renting out tapes, and we got a tape of Technical Ecstasy. It was a manky, dirty old tape. You could tell people haven't looked after it, they've borrowed it and probably gone in tape-to-tape machines and etc. So we drive out of Bromsgrove Library with the music starting, dun, 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 dun. And there's this guy walking down the street in front of us in a jacket with long hair and a moustache. He's laughing. It's Tony Iommi. So just we driving out, we're playing this. He's walking past. It was really strange. It got quite funny. It's quite funny he was laughing because he must have thought. Because I'm sure his perception of that was a complete failure. No one remembers that,
And that's the one
We were playing. Wind the windows down. The music's playing. We've never heard it before. And there it is playing. Tony Iommi's there.
What was he doing in Bromsgrove?
Well, he lives around there somewhere. I don't know. He probably moved by now. I didn't actually know where he lived actually at one point because my brother's friend's sister's friend went out with him or something, with his son or something. Yeah, you can hear it live. I think people may disagree with this, but you compare the fantastic soundboard show we've got from '75, which is absolutely awesome. You know, Bill Ward particularly, he's just on fire, and Ozzy as well, really pushing himself and struggles a bit with the new songs. You know, and the live stuff here, I've heard a few shows. The energy isn't there. I think the energy has dropped, and I think it's probably lack of enthusiasm. The music isn't as good, you know. I don't know. There's a famous bootleg. There's "Killing Yourself to Die," and there's now a soundboard of an FM abridged show. So yeah, and the end of that touring cycle, Ozzy left, and he was talking about this. He was going to form a band called Blizzard of Oz. And had a Blizzard of Oz t-shirt as far back as '75 apparently. So he said, well, this is crap, I don't like this. So he left. To be continued. 3 eggs.
Yeah, I agree.
We haven't talked about the songs, really.
Well, there's not much to talk about, is there? It's like Rock Song 1 and Rock Song 2.
Well, Dirty Woman is excellent. And they have played that for pretty much every show with Ozzy since. I assume there was very, very short shows on Oddsfest with it, but apart from that, they've always played it. It's kind of Tony Iommi's solo-y thing, so you know, and it is really good. Then again, is it as good as the Rit? Not really. They can play it live, that's good, but I used to like All Moving Parts. There's a cool bit of bass on that, so that's pretty cool. Rock and Roll Doctor, that's a real attempt at doing something commercial. There's a music video of Rock and Roll Doctor, believe it or not. But I mean, I don't think Ozzy ever sung it live. They did play a segment of it live the previous year, or instrumentally, and it was revived with Ian Gillan. They talk the Ian Gillan show. They're obviously choosing songs that would suit his voice. But I think the big thing is It's Alright. Bill Ward on vocals. It's Alright. It's really good. I think it's a great song. And there's a music video to that as well, with Bill singing. Guns N' Roses used to cover it, strangely. It's on their live compilation of early stuff. Nowhere near as good as this. I think, you know, it's one of those things where in an ideal world that would have been a hit single. It should have been a hit single. I mean, I would say, you know, it's the best pop song of 1976. I don't know what pop songs there were in 1976, so I wouldn't know, but it should have been a chart hit because it's great. And it's just a different thing, isn't it? You know, whether that would have done them damage long term, a big hit pop single for Black Sabbath. Could they have come back with Heaven and Hell and Die Young and, you know, I don't know. Did what's it ever come back after Tequila? What are they called again? Terrorvision. Oh yeah, it killed them, didn't it? Yeah, that was Zoe Ball's fault. They didn't want to release it as a single because they knew it would happen at the end of them. She made them release it, and they had to, and that was it. Never heard them again. Never mind. Oh well. So yeah, I said 3 eggs, and I knew you agreed. Didn't I?
Yeah, that's amazing. That is. I thought we wouldn't agree on this one.
Right. So you thought I'd think it was better?
A little bit better, yeah. We normally do like 1 egg apart. I thought I'll go 3 eggs, you go 4 eggs. But no, it is a 3 egg album. It's really disappointing. After Sabotage,
you can imagine at the time what you know, it would have been in the context of the whole catalogue. Something it's like completely different to everything else. You know, but coming after those first, it is the first 6, sadly. You know, so yeah. We should say on our Patreon, www.patreon.com/WentonKing, we appreciate not everyone's going to be into Sabbath, so we're doing the Genesis stuff whilst this is happening. So if you're on Patreon, you do get the Genesis reviews as well. Wind and Wuthering should be with you by now. It's already available. I think after that we're going to do Genesis Live and Seconds Out before we go on to, and then there were 3 and all that stuff. So yeah, that's Technical Ecstasy. Good title, good cover.
Average everything else.
Yeah. Sorry.
Not quite average production by the sounds of it.
Terrible. Muddy mud. Yeah, great stuff. See you soon.